June 7th, 1944. Dusk over the Normandy hedgerows near Carentan, France. Mud squelches under truck tires as half-tracks rumble into position, their engines growling like a panther pack. Sergeant Arthur Shilstone wipes sweat from his brow, the air thick with diesel fumes and the sharp tongue of fresh rubber. Shadows lengthen across a field where ghostly shapes swell to life inflatable Sherman tanks, rising like monsters from the mist, their canvas hides gleaming faintly under camouflage netting. You can almost hear the distant drone of Luftwaffe recon planes, probing for the real invasion force just miles away. Private First Class Bill Blass, sketchpad tucked in his fatigues, pumps air into a fake M4 tank. Its 93-pound frame loading into a 30-ton behemoth illusion. Beside him, Corporal Ellsworth Kelly daubs olive-drab paint on plywood artillery pieces, his artist's eye catching the exact slant of real unit markings from the 2nd Armored Division. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, 1,100 artists, actors and engineers handpicked from New York's art schools and Broadway stages, work in feverish silence, hearts pounding as night falls. No bullets in their belts, just creativity as their ammo. Headquarters tents sprout like mushrooms, lit by fake glows from burlap windows. Sound trucks, half-tracks rigged with 40-foot speaker arrays, idle nearby, their reels loaded with recordings of clanking treads and booted feet marching in cadence. Lieutenant Colonel Harry L. Reeder, the steely commander, scans the horizon through binoculars, whispering orders. Make it big. Make it believable. Make them buy it. These men aren't warriors in the traditional sense. They're con artists with a canvas of canvas, turning fields into phantom armies. You can feel the chill of the evening dew seeping through their wool overcoats, the weight of secrecy pressing heavier than any rucksack. Recruited straight from Manhattan galleries and design studios, they traded easels for espionage. Fashion designer Blass, painter Kelly, photographer Art Kane, names that would one day grace high society, now grunt over bellows and brushes, forging the first U.S. Army group that never existed. General Patton's Ghost Division, they called it, a bluff to lure German eyes from the bloody beaches. Radio jeeps crackled to life. Signalmen fluent in German chatter faked traffic, mimicking the 4th Infantry Division's chatter. Foxtrot Baker advanced to grid 23 to 45. Enemy armor sighted. It's all scripted theater, scripted to fool the Abwehr listeners tuning in from Calais. Across the channel, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel's scouts report a massive build-up tanks by the hundreds, troops massing for a knockout blow. But here, just rubber and recordings, a mirage born of ingenuity. Dusk deepens to black. The sonic half-tracks rev up, blasting the thunder of 10,000 men on the move treads grinding, engines revving, officers barking in clipped tones. From the air, a Messerschmitt pilot squints at silhouettes that look real enough to die for. On the ground, German patrols creep closer, drawn by the din. The Ghost Army holds its breath. One slip, one popped balloon under a bayonet, and the illusion crumbles. By midnight, Luftwaffe spotters buzz overhead, their engines a staccato heartbeat. Inflatable P-47 Thunderbolts bob on poles, fooling the flyboys into logging a full fighter wing. Reeder's men scatter to foxholes, not from fear of bombs, they pray for them. Explosions nearby? Proof the deception works. But as dawn creeps in, a chilling report filters back. Panzers shifting east, away from the real spearhead at Utah Beach. Triumph? Or had the ghosts overplayed their hand? The unit packs up at first light, deflating their army in under an hour, trucks vanishing into the bocage like smoke. Casualties that night? 0. Real division saved? Thousands. Yet whispers spread among GE is who the hell were those phonies? Classified tighter than Enigma codes, their story vanishes into fog. But this was just the opening act. What happens when the ghosts hit the Rhine, impersonating Corps-sized killers with Patton's own swagger? March 7, 1945. Night on the freezing banks of the Rhine River near Remagen, Germany. The air is thick with fog and the acrid sting of artillery smoke. German sentries peer anxiously through the gloom, their breath misting in the chill. Across the river, swirling shadows take shape. Tens of thousands of figures come alive in the dim light. Engines roar, trucks clatter, troops shout orders. Floodlights slice through the darkness, illuminating phantom pontoon bridges and inflatable tanks bouncing softly in the breeze. This is no ordinary crossing. It is a performance, a masterstroke of wartime deception orchestrated by the Ghost Army. Colonel Hilton Rayleigh, a Texan newspaperman turned deception expert, commands this spectral spectacle. Hundreds of inflatable Sherman tanks and artillery pieces puff up like balloons, rigged with canvas and rubber, yet convincing enough to fool even the sharpest German eyes. Sound trucks pump out layered recordings, truck engines, marching boots, soldiers constructing pontoon bridges, all broadcast over 40-foot speaker arrays rigged onto half-tracks. Spoof radio operators transmit false orders, mimicking battalion chatter with chilling precision. Smoke generators lay down hazy curtains, hiding real troop movements while amplifying the illusion. The enemy believes they face entire divisions, poised to surge across the Rhine, not a single soldier in sight. The German command scrambles to respond. Reinforcements rush toward the false crossing, diverting forces from the real assault points miles away. The Ninth Army's actual crossing faces only scattered resistance and suffers remarkably low casualties. From the muddy banks, Rayleigh's men watch their artistry turn the tide, knowing their invisible arsenal has saved countless lives. Praise from Ninth Army's commander William Simpson is swift, meticulous planning, minute attention to detail, and flawless execution credit to a unit unlike any other in the history of warfare. But while the deception unfolds flawlessly, danger lurks in every shadow. The slightest hint of exposure, a misfired shell that reveals the emptiness behind the inflated tanks, could unravel the entire illusion and cost lives. The Ghost Army walks a knife edge between art and war, performance and peril. As dawn approaches, a new question hangs. How far will these ghosts be able to go? And what will happen when the curtain falls on their final act? Tires churn through shell-pocked roads leading to Brest, France. August 1944. The salt-laced wind off the Atlantic whips at canvas tarps as convoys snake toward the fortified port city. Lieutenant Seymour Nussendong grips the wheel of a sound truck, speakers humming faintly with test tones amid the rumble of real engines. German General Hermann Bernhard Ramk's paratroopers dig in behind concrete bunkers, their machine guns trained on the approaches. But from the hills overlooking the harbor, something unnatural swells, a horizon bristling with tank silhouettes, artillery batteries materializing like thunderheads. This is Operation Brest, the Ghost Army's trial by fire. For the first time, every trick deploys in unison visual, sonic, radio symphony. Artists like Private First Class Jack Massey inflate rubber Shermans and 155mm howitzers, their bellows wheezing in rhythm with the sea's crash. Teams paint meticulous unit insignia, stars, serial numbers, mud splatter effects straight from Omaha Beach photos. Sound half-tracks unleash a cacophony treads grinding over cobblestones. Tank commanders bellowing coordinates. G is cursing in authentic New York drawls. You can almost taste the cordite in the air, feel the ground tremble under phantom divisions. Radio jeeps weave through the mock assembly areas, spoof operators chattering in code. Baker 3 to Kingpin, enemy pillbox at Grid Echo 7, request artillery support. German intercepts light up Abwehr stations, painting a picture of overwhelming force poised to crack Rank's garrison. The deception inflates the besieging the 20th Corps from 3 divisions to a mauling horde. Rank's men peer through slits, spotting floodlit headquarters tents pulsing with fake activity, jeeps ferrying brass under burlap awnings. Doubt creeps in, surrender whispers circulate among the defenders. Yet Ranke holds fanatical. Luftwaffe sorties stay grounded by Allied air supremacy, denying aerial proof of the bluff. Shells rain on the real lines, but the ghosts endure, coordinating under Colonel Stanley Lombardo's iron gaze. Casualties mount not from combat, but the razor-wire tension of exposure. One soldier whispers to another, "If they probe too close, ... The unit's baptism sharpens them, lessons in synchronization etched in sweat and secrecy. As September dawns, Brest falls after brutal house-to-house fighting, Ranke captured with 37,000 troops. The Ghost Army slips away, their role uncredited, equipment deflated into duffels. But victory tastes bittersweet. Bettembourg looms next, a desperate defense of a thin front line where deception meets real bullets. Can artists hold 20 miles of front against a counterattack? The dense woods surrounding Bettembourg, September 1944. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops find themselves embedded deep within a fragile Allied front, holding a critical 20-mile gap that leaves General Patton's Third Army vulnerable to encirclement. The mission? Impersonate the heavily armed 6th Armored Division to deceive the Germans into believing this quiet sector bristles with tanks and troops. The longest, riskiest deception the Ghost Army would ever attempt was underway. For 8 tense days, the Ghost Army orchestrates a symphony of illusions. Inflatable tanks sit poised beneath the trees. Sound trucks roll out the drone of engines and metal treads, and radio operators mimic the real division's chatter with uncanny accuracy. Lieutenant Bob Conrad recalls the palpable tension. Nothing between us and the Germans but our hopes and prayers. Each man plays his part, knowing discovery would open Patton's flank to a devastating German counterattack. Soldiers patrol with rifles in hand, blending artistry with combat readiness, haunted by the possibility their ruse might be violently shattered. Despite stretched resources and no reinforcements in sight, the deception holds fast. The Germans hesitate, diverted by phantom units and false reports of strength. Day by day, the Ghost Army buys time for the delayed 83rd Infantry Division to arrive and relieve the line. On the night of September 22nd, the Ghost Army fades away under cover of darkness, their sound trucks whirring the noises of departing tanks as the real troops take up the fight. Patton's line remains intact, protected by artists turned soldiers. The price is real. 2 men killed, 15 wounded in close encounters. A stark reminder that this was no mere performance. Lives were on the line. The Ghost Army's success at Bettembourg would secure their legacy as the masters of war deception, saving thousands of Allied lives and shaping the course of the European campaign. Yet even as they vanish into the shadows, questions linger. What became of these unsung heroes after the war? How did their extraordinary skills translate to peace? The story, like their army, fades into the mist. For now,